There's only one thing greater than winning a Super Bowl, and that thing is celebrating your victory. These are the greatest Super Bowl celebrations in NFL history. Let's kick things off with Super Bowl 47, a game that wasn't more important to any player's legacy than Ray Lewis. The legendary linebacker worked his butt off to return from an injury to play one more game with a cast on his arm before retiring. And when Jacoby Jones returned a kick for a touchdown to start the second half, he celebrated with Ray Lewis's famous pregame dance to honor his teammate. But Ray got a chance to celebrate on his own behalf in Baltimore when he came out of the tunnel in his street clothes and did his iconic dance one last time in front of his fans. The celebration was much more appropriate in comparison to when he celebrated his first Super Bowl by maybe or maybe not killing two guys at a nightclub. But I guess that's just my opinion. Ray Lewis wasn't the only legend that won a Super Bowl in his last ever game. Peyton Manning did too. Manning celebrated a little differently than Lewis did after winning a Super Bowl in the last game of his career. After the game, a reporter, Tracy Wolfson, asked him if he was going to retire, and he responded by saying he was going to drink a lot of Budweiser. Twice. Interesting tidbit, Budweiser didn't pay him for the double mention. The double casual mention was a big deal because the advertising was valued at $3.2 million. Why do it? Well, Peyton owns a stake of a few Budweiser distributors in Louisiana, so sharing his love of Bud wasn't completely innocent. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is that Peyton Manning would probably be the best person to party with after a few beers in his system.
I want to go, hug my family. I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
And it's a good thing the Broncos won the Super Bowl that year, because they don't take losses particularly well. The Denver Broncos got ragdolled by the Seahawks in Super Bowl 48, so when they made it back and won it all 2 years later, the fans were absolutely jacked up. Dare I say, a little too jacked up? Broncos fans rioted in the streets of the Mile High City and started getting so out of control that police officers had to spray the streets with tear gas to de-escalate the scene. I was under the impression that weed calms people down. Meanwhile, the Seahawks were having the time of their lives. Just watch Marshawn Lynch dancing his culo off in his beast mode hoodie after his Seahawks captured the Lombardi. Damn, you gotta love beast mode. And I got love for all of you. So give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And together, we can run like heroes. Like Tracy Porter. When Tracy Porter picked off Peyton Manning and took it back for a touchdown, he knew he'd just sealed the deal for the city of New Orleans. So he started pointing out to them to tell them, "We're coming home." And when the Saints arrived back in Louisiana, it was a heartfelt welcome like no other. The city was already celebrating Mardi Gras with all the best foods humans could ever imagine, but they had so much more to party for than that. Their team and their city had recovered from the devastation of Hurricane Katrina to rebuild and bring home the first Super Bowl in their franchise's history. Now that calls for some jambalaya and po' boys. But Tracy Porter didn't catch the most famous pick six in Super Bowl history. James Harrison might have done that, and it might have been the greatest moment of his life. James Harrison didn't have an easy start to his career. The guy was cut 4 times and was so heartbroken that he almost quit playing football. But he stuck with it and scored one of the biggest touchdowns in NFL history during Super Bowl 43. On the very last play of the first half, he picked off Kurt Warner and returned the interception 100 yards back for a touchdown like a freight train that fell off the rails. After his monster run, he collapsed on his back in the end zone to bask in the glory of his triumphant moment. And it turns out that Harrison's Steelers teammates were pretty fired up too. Just check out how Troy Polamalu celebrated his Super Bowl title. Troy Polamalu, the superstar Samoan safety of the Steelers, celebrated the team's Super Bowl victory by surfing. But he didn't wait to get home to his home state of Hawaii. Instead, he went crowd surfing during the team's celebration parade in downtown Pittsburgh. Far from what I would expect of a player that plays a position called safety. But there is nothing safe about playing in the NFL. And the Eagles had to make some risky play calls to win the Super Bowl in 2018. The Eagles waited decades for their team to finally win a Super Bowl. So when they beat the Pats and won the trophy, all hell broke loose. People were reported brawling, flipping over cars, scaling the City Hall gates, mounting garbage trucks, and attempting to tear down traffic lights and lampposts. It was nuts. Then at the parade, some guy tossed a beer to head coach Doug Peterson, who caught it so smoothly that fans were wondering if he would be better served lining up as a wide receiver. Things were so euphoric that even a local celebrity thought he got in on the action. After the Lombardi Trophy was presented to the Eagles, Kevin Hart tried to battle his way onto the stage to take a turn holding it. Unfortunately, that's a big no-no. Even people as popular as Kevin Hart aren't entitled to carry the trophy despite his valid effort to convince a security guard 3 times his size. The Eagles had such a good time that they were ready to do it all over again in 2023 when the Eagles again made it to the big game, this time to play against the Chiefs. Unfortunately for the city of brotherly love, they were unable to defeat Mahomes and his boys. But that didn't matter. The riot was still out of control in the streets of Philly. Apparently, win or lose, this is just the Philly way. And up next, we get to see how the guys who beat them celebrated their championship. Travis Kelce started his Super Bowl celebrations early in 2023 after beating the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. Right after the contest, he grabbed the microphone and called the Bengals mayor a jabroni and told him to shut his mouth and know his place.
Hey, I got some wise words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Now that's tough. He kept the celebrations rolling into the big game. When he caught a touchdown pass from Mahomes, he followed by doing the stanky leg, and then after the Chiefs won, the celebrations kept on coming. Running back Isaiah Pacheco pulled out these nasty dance moves in front of the team's parade bus. These guys just have too much talent. But Pacheco isn't the only slick dancer playing in the NFL. Odell Beckham Jr. proved that he had some pretty fly dance moves of his own. After scoring the opening touchdown in Super Bowl 56 for the Rams, he busted out his best Michael Jackson impersonation. Then after the team won the game, he got extra emotional and broke out into tears. But hey, you know what? He earned it. And as they say, big girls don't cry. And OBJ is a real big girl. But you know who is even bigger than OBJ? Aaron Donald. And the man who looks like he's made of rocks like the Thing from the Fantastic Four earned his right to party as well when the Rams won it all. In fact, Donald made the game-winning sack. And after taking down Joe Burrow, he pointed to his ring finger that was about to be decorated with the greatest piece of jewelry a football player could ever receive. Lucky finger. Clearly, one thing all great champions have in common is that they know how to celebrate their victories. And there are no greater champions in NFL history than the New England Patriots dynasty. So you bet your bottom booty that they celebrated in style. In 2002, even Bill Belichick, the team's coach that usually shows about as much emotion as a robot, he got in on the celebration by telling the city of New England to rock on. The team owner, Robert Kraft, hopped front and center to show off some of his old man dance moves. Pretty sweet. And the players get pretty fired up too. Check out Tom Brady's celebration when Malcolm Butler picked off Russell Wilson in 2015. He went absolutely mental on the sideline. Gronk is an absolute party animal, so you would expect that he would crank it up a notch after winning the Super Bowl. Plenty of videos circulated the internet of Gronk crushing beers and spiking them like footballs into the ground, a sight that NFL fans grew far too accustomed to. But it is possible that after winning so many Super Bowls, these guys thought they literally owned it and started getting a little reckless with it. After winning Super Bowl 53, the Pats brought the Lombardi Trophy to Fenway Park and were practicing throwing pitches in the Red Sox bullpen. And Gronk had a brilliant idea that he would take an at-bat using the Lombardi Trophy as his bat. No, he wouldn't. Yes, he would. Gronk laid down a bunt using the trophy and the ball left a dent in it. But after all the headshots in his career, can you even blame the guy? And if you think these guys learned their lesson, they didn't. When Brady left the Pats and signed with the Buccaneers, he brought his buddy Rob Gronkowski out of retirement to join him in sunny Florida. And after they won the Super Bowl together there, they got in separate yachts and played a little bit of catch with the trophy. I mean, these guys have such good chemistry that they completed the pass from one boat to another. Even though they were both drunk out of their pie holes, but apparently the completion wasn't good enough for the family of the man who built the trophy. Lorraine Groves, the daughter of the man who made the trophy, was infuriated and demanded an apology from Brady. And guess what Brady did? He definitely didn't apologize because he was too busy celebrating. There you have it, folks. Those were the greatest Super Bowl celebrations in NFL history. If that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. Spike that thumbs up button like Gronk and subscribe to the channel. But before you go, remember what I said at the start. There's a way you gotta get to these celebrations. So check out this video right here. Craziest Super Bowl moments. Or how about this guy who's probably still partying after his Super Bowl victory? Peace out, folks.